We looked at that title race business. Yeah, let's start here, people. Start exactly here. First things first. Big up again. I don't know if you lot can see. I can't see. I need to zoom in a bit. Zooming in too much there. Again, big up Arsenal. It was a clean sweep where trophies were concerned. Once again, more trophies than Spurs. Once again, Arsenal at the London Football Awards tonight, which was obviously yesterday. Mikel Arteta won Manager of the Year. Bukayo Saka won Young Player of the Year. Martin Odegaard won Player of the Year. Aaron Ramsdale won Goalkeeper of the Year. So a clean sweep where we're concerned for all the Arsenal lads. Shout out to them for that one, really. So yeah. Apparently, Edu has said we're in the middle of the process. What has he specifically said? On Arsenal's progress, apologies. I think when we started, we were talking a lot about our process and people were making jokes about our process. I think we were quite clear about all the steps, what we went through. We knew we'd go through some challenging periods because we had to make some important decisions and sometimes unpopular decisions, which give the club credit. They've never cowered away from doing that, and we're going to need to do that, especially as we get into the Champions League. So shout out to Edu and everybody else involved, people. There's numerous. We'll be here all day, which were going to cause some instability. But importantly, we were internally together in terms of understanding the process and then where we are. I know there's a lot to do. I think we are in the middle of the process. There's still a lot of things to do and carry on doing, but also we're very happy and proud to see where we are at the moment. On recent results, Mikel is doing a great job. We as well have chosen players with the right mentality, with the right spirit to be in the squad. We have fantastic staff around us. We always had to make sure of that because when you're talking about a team, you know we need everybody to be really good to make the players perform. It's unfair to judge on just one or two things because to perform the way we are performing, it's a lot of subjects, which is true, to make us good and to make us feeling good. As I said, there's still a lot of things to do. We want to keep the feet on the floor because we understand there's a lot of games ahead of us. Also, we have to enjoy our moment and be happy with what we're doing at the moment, which is true. On recruitment, listen, as I've always said, we have a lot of people working to help us, me and Mikel, to make the right decisions. When we go to the summer, when we go to the winter, we are really prepared to make those kind of decisions. We're really happy with him in relation to Trossard. We're happy with the players, really happy with the squad and the staff at the moment. So let's enjoy it, but also let's keep our feet on the floor because there's still a lot to go in the league. We want to finish in the best possible way. You know what, yeah? I remember when Edu signed, and I remember he made a comment the same way the comments that struck me was Mikel Arteta talking about the atmosphere. It's like when Edu said, I like to be with the squad, I like to travel and things, and he was going to Dubai. It's just dawned on me. Obviously, we're fighting for a league title, in the table, allegedly, because I don't look at it. Some of these players have fought for trophies, been at key areas. Some of them may have league titles. But who better to give experience indirectly to these players about keeping your feet on the floor than Edu when you deep it? Invincible thing, really. And who better to realise we need strength in depth in centre midfield than Edu, really, you know. Big up Fabrice Mwamba. Check out the stream we did yesterday. I agree with him in that Edu was quite slept on at Arsenal because obviously you know the midfielders that were ahead of him when he was playing. But yeah, man. Who better to ask or keep a cool head, really? You know, obviously the players have to go out there and do that, but Edu's got a wealth of experience to give from a player perspective. To be fair, we internally never mentioned about the title, really. Come on, you know they're talking about the title at Arsenal, but keep feet on the floor. We always talk about performing, how we can perform better every week. Mikel is sending those messages every week. Guys, I want to be better every week. Then let's see where we're going to finish. We cannot dream if we're not really living the moment, which is true. We're living right now. Let's keep doing what we're doing at the moment. And let's see at the end of the season where we're going to be. Big up Beth Mead and Kim Little as well, who, took home honours where the women's game was concerned as well. And we also got goal of the season. So clean sweep for everybody involved, people. I think we've already seen this as well. Just making sure. Edu has said people are making jokes. We saw this already, innit, people? So yeah, man. But importantly, internally, we were quite together to understand the process, and now we are where we are. Fair enough, Edu. Let's close all of that. Fair enough, Edu. I had to fight Leandro Trossard, ready to battle Gabriel Jesus for spot in Arsenal starting 11. What has our winter recruit said? A lot. I had it already when I arrived here. It's not that I went straight into the 11 from the first week. I had to fight as well for it. I think we have such a good group and competition is that high. As you saw in the last few weeks, we need everyone to win games. That's what it's all about. That's how you can win things. Amen. On Jesus, he's a top player. He's contributed a lot already for Arsenal. You can see his presence. He makes other players better as well. So do you, Trossard. We need everyone, and it's great to have him back, which is true. He said, to be honest, they have made it easy for me. It's such a good group. They have made me feel welcome on the first day, and it felt like directly at home. Then it's so much easier for a new player to adapt to a new team. The amount of nutmegs Trossard must do in training must be ridiculous. The manager also helped me a lot. I am a tactical player, and they're also good on the ball as well. It's easier to adapt. I'm feeling great now. Shout out to Trossard for that one, people. Aaron Ramsdale said, I want to stay at Arsenal for 15 years and finish as a club legend. That's true, but you're 24. He was at a relegation team, and and I'm not boying him or Saliba or Martinelli or Saka, but it's very easy to say that when you're young players, not really done much in the game at a team aspiring to get there. When you're in your mid to late 20s and Arsenal are going one way, hopefully it's not, as we've seen with Henry, with Cesc Fabregas, and many other examples. How do you feel then? Because if you have that small inkling that you can go somewhere and achieve what you need to achieve, you need to do it. Because when them 15 years are up, you might not have all the trophies you want. Arsenal fans, including myself, will thank you, and that's it. And it's on to the next one, really and truly. But he's insisted he wants to be a legend, people. It was a difficult period moving club to club, even before that going on loan. I never imagined leaving Bournemouth after a year. I never imagined leaving Sheffield United after a year. But this is a place now where I can see myself for 10, 12, 15 years. That's the aim. That's the goal. That's the aim, to stay at the top for that amount of time. Big up Ramsdale. I'm wishing you all the best, man. I love him as a goalie here. Hopefully, I'll never have to leave. I'll become a real hero and legend at this football club. Then he went on to say, people, from the first, this is in relation to Arteta, from the first phone call, from the first day, he said, be yourself. You don't need to be anybody who hides behind an image or to shy away from speaking up in the change rooms. The first day I came in, thankfully, I knew a few of the boys from previous clubs or England, so I was able to come in and joke straight away, and people can see my character. It definitely allowed me to express myself on the pitch from the first game. Well, Aaron Ramsdale, I can't lie, you're only 24, but I think if you don't go into media when the game's done, when you retire, you're missing out on some serious moolah. Not that you're gonna need it, because he's a wealth of breath of fresh air, man. Really enjoyable seeing his interviews and stuff. Really identifiable, real working class lad, despite the riches he's getting. Declan Rice is likely to join Arsenal this summer after West Ham failed to convince the midfielder that the club is progressing. Until I see him sign on the dotted line, I don't know any of this, people. But yeah, we've seen this before, really. I think we're all a bit bored about talking about Declan Rice. West Ham are fighting for their lives. We meet them soon. Declan Rice naturally, West Ham are not progressing. They've given him everything. Released by Chelsea, made him a Premier League player. Time to keep it moving, really and truly. Apparently, his stock has fallen, but Arsenal are still willing to pay 80 million. The Gunners were keen on bringing in Caicedo, who recently signed a new 4-year deal with Brighton in January, but signing in Jorginho instead after failing to secure a move. Okay. With their current first-choice midfield pairing of Partey and Xhaka having been excellent this season, they are 29 and 30 respectively, while Jorginho is 31. El Nene is around them ages too. The 24-year-old Rice could be a long-term solution at the Emirates as Mikel Arteta looks to add a young side, closing in on what could be an extraordinary league success. We'll have to see, but it starts with Thursday against Sporting Lisbon in the Europa League, and then we move towards Crystal Palace. In relation to 35m Milinkovic Savic, people, apparently we've been linked with him again. At this point, is he even a real player? We've all seen him on TV, but has anyone seen him in the flesh? He's just an illusion, man, really and truly. There's a lot of jargon here, people. I'm trying to find the absolute Arsenal bit. Really, I think I have another report. Okay, here we go. Let's start from here. By what price? In recent years, Lotito, who is the chairman at Lazio, has always given the player a very high valuation. He said 100 million minimum to sit at a table to negotiate, but he had a long-term player contract on his side, which now no longer exists. Nonetheless, the president does not seem to want to consider offers of less than 50 million, while the player's entourage is pushing for a lower figure of around 35 to 40 million euros. However, that's not a few for a 28-year-old player who expires in a year. The potentially interested clubs from Juventus to Arsenal, to name the two that have taken some concrete steps in recent months, are currently at the window but ready to take the field. The match for Savic's future is about to begin. They could be inflating interest, you just never know. But for what it's worth, Arsenal are ready to take action to sign 35m Milinkovic Savic from Lazio in the summer. He's been linked with Manchester United as well, also Newcastle and West Ham recently, people. His contract expires in 2024. He could be allowed to leave for a significant lower fee. This article again claims that while Lazio want 50 million euros, that puts it in the 40s. His agent is pushing for 35. That takes it to about around the 20s, maybe early 30 million mark. It's claimed Arsenal and Juventus are at the window ready to take a seat. So we'll have to see exactly what happens. He's got 4 goals and 8 assists in 24 Serie A appearances this term. Apparently, we bidded for him in the summer. He said he didn't want to move. He weren't convinced about us in the Champions League. So maybe that's that. You know, obviously, you've got Guerrero and obviously Gilmondo, who are becoming free agents if Tierney leaves. Two players that have been linked with us in previous years. Could you pick them up? But apparently, he's in talks over a move to the Premier League, the 27-year-old, according to reports, people. It's claimed he's held talks with Fulham and Nottingham Forest. So, boy, I don't know for any of that. But that could be one to watch. Speaking of fullbacks, Eddie Howe apparently people tells Dan Ashworth the two players he wants most at Newcastle next season, which is James Maddison of Leicester and our very own Kieran Tierney. People, we'll have to see. Tierney is valued at the 30 million mark and is the second choice at Arsenal right now. So we'll have to see how that one there develops and if there's any credibility there. Ethan Nuari, obviously, he came off the bench against Brentford. He keeps being linked with all the big boys in the Prem. You know, I do think you'd have a fantastic pathway. You're seeing what we're doing with young players. I think you'd miss out on a trick to play at Arsenal. But if he wants to leave, it is what it is. I think he will be a Premier League household name, relative household name, Premier League regular at some level one day. But he's got a lot to go. It would be upset me a lot if he left. But end of the day, you have to get on with it, really and truly. Like, the world's going to keep spinning. If he wants to leave, let him. If he wants to stay, great. But Arsenal at serious risk of losing Ethan to a Premier League rival. According to reports, City and Chelsea are both showing significant interest. They could you could earn a lot of money. You could train with Pep Guardiola occasionally. You could be around some very competitive players, learn your craft, and then keep it moving. The same could be said at Chelsea. But in terms of just there, because we don't stockpile talent to the way them lot do it, you have a clearer pathway. But if he wants to leave, let him leave, man. Like, man, see Thierry Henry bust out of this football club. Quality player, absolute quality player, wonder of a left foot, 16 years of age, immaculate talent. But the world will keep spinning. And I do think he would be there with the Gnabry's, the Yunus Musas. You know, our fans always waffle about players leaving. Vontae Daly, Campbell, Amici, players that ain't gone on and done anything really and truly into this day and age. But I do think where you look at Musa, where you look at Benassa, where you look at him, these are guys we shouldn't really let out of our club. If he leaves, in it. Simple business. We've seen this with Edu as well. I'm not going to bore you lot with that again. Fabrizio Romano said some Arsenal fans are getting excited about Moses Caicedo liking a post about the win over Fulham, but I don't like to read too much into things like this. Talks are not done on social media, hardly groundbreaking. But for sure, Caicedo still hopes for a top move in the summer despite extending the contract with Brighton. Well, you'd imagine even he's on 60 grand a week now at Brighton. Even doubling that is not an issue for Arsenal. You know, you'd probably in line to get 100 odd grand a week, really. This only has relevance, people, because it says Man United are ready to battle Arsenal for Vlahovic if they fail to sign Harry Kane. I don't care what Harry Kane's doing. I don't care what Man United is doing. It's just the Vlahovic thing has resurfaced, really. Don't think that's happening. You know, we're always going to get linked with them. And he burnt his bridges here. You never say never, but boy, I'm not too sure on that. Mitoma about to be offered a huge pay rise after claims Arsenal want to sign him. So that follows McAllister and obviously Caicedo. What's this? When did this come out? 2 hours ago. Journalist shares what Arsenal insiders are now saying. Smash the like button, people, are now saying about Yuri Telemans. What are they specifically saying about Yuri Telemans? Don't forget 7:50, people. We're going to be live once again to obviously watch Manchester City against Leipzig. Even if you can't be there, please do me a massive favor and smash the like button on such, people. Without you lot, it can't be done. It cannot be done, people. So yeah, make sure you smash the like button on such, people. If I can remember correctly, this video, it should take you through to that at the end of this. So let's slap that in there. Let's see exactly what's happening. Yuri Telemans has been on Arsenal's radar for a long time, but it looks like the Gunners' interest in the Leicester City midfielder has faded. Probably that's according to Dean Jones. Specifically, what has he said? Apparently, Arteta ordered a background check on the Belgium and he received good references. That's good. He said Arsenal will be able to offer both next term, yet are now having to determine whether he fits their project. And it is being signaled by sources around the stadium that an offer to him seems unlikely. The current feeling is that the club will probably look elsewhere for midfield reinforcements despite the finances attached. And obviously, in the last few weeks, we've been linked with Milinkovic Savic, Locatelli, Caicedo, etc. So that's probably where we're at with that. We've been linked with Asensio once again, and apparently we're in talks for such. Don't want to bore you with that. Arsenal have advantage over Chelsea in transfer race for Declan Rice. What is that? What has Ben Jacobs specifically said? So leverage our success in the league. To further Arsenal's chances of signing Rice, more Dean Jones has reported that West Ham captain's camp Phil Arteta will give the England anchor the best option for a transfer. Fair enough, but what? Okay, we keep hearing we're the favourites, we're this and that, and all these things. But yeah, the advantage Arsenal have in the short term is that they are a more stable project and they are likely to have Champions League football. I mean, fans could have told you that. Whereas Chelsea are currently 11 points adrift of Champions League football, and then with Rice, the consideration will also be the price as well. But things can fluctuate. So I don't think that's anything groundbreaking or it doesn't fit up to the headline really, but is where it is. We've been linked with Julian Brandt, not just us. Tottenham Hotspur and Arsenal are very interested in Julian Brandt and are forcing great efforts from Dortmund to keep hold of him. Let's see exactly how that happens, people. To wrap up the transfer segment of this live stream, people, let's see what Goal.com's gossip column is saying in relation to us having to scroll the way up. Once again, we've been linked with Paulinho of Fulham. Apparently, we're one of many clubs keeping a close eye on local rivals Fulham midfielder João Paulinho's performances this season. We're also drawing competition from Manchester United, Newcastle United, Liverpool and Chelsea. Ramsdale wants to become a club legend. We're interested in Jonathan David to deputise as backup for Gab Jesus. We remain interested in buying Leverkusen's Moussa Diaby, according to Christian Falk. Arsenal remain interested in signing Diaby from Bayern Leverkusen in the summer, and apparently his agents are in contact with Arsenal to try and work out a deal for all parties involved, and there's solid interest from Arsenal. We're interested in Sasha Boy from Galatasaray, the 22-year-old. Arteta prefers Zubamendi over Brighton's Caicedo. We've been linked with Dahoud of Dortmund, who's soon to be a free agent. Fabrizio Romano's ruled out us going for Osimhen. Nelson is still drawing interest from other clubs. Villa want Tierney as well. The Gunners are still interested in Caicedo despite a new contract. So we're still interested. He still wants to move to a big club despite a new contract. Hopefully Brighton, ease their stance. We've been linked with Locatelli once again as well, people. We've registered an interest in McAllister. Declan Rice is very open to joining Arsenal. Rice has said that he admires Arsenal, their form, their style, and their manager, Mikel Arteta, which would also suggest that he's very open to a move to Arsenal. Join the revolution, my friend. Join the revolution. So with that seems to be the transfer news, folks.